As a male human being, sometimes we can be proud, arrogant holes, right? And especially when we're buying from strangers on eBay. So I wanted this piece for a number of reasons, which we're going to talk about in background info, but I'm bidding on it on eBay, and both the seller and myself I started making up some lies to try and get it cheaper, which he didn't know they were lies, but in return, he was being an ass and I was being an ass, and we went back and forth, and we couldn't settle over 20 bucks. Very next morning, one of my friends on Facebook messaged me. It was him selling the piece, and he realized it was probably me as the buyer. And we both admitted we were being proud, arrogant pricks because we didn't want to back down. But it's just an interesting fact how I would have paid 20 extra bucks if I knew it was him. And but I wouldn't because it was a stranger on eBay. But with that being said, he actually has a YouTube channel, and he has reviewed this piece, this specific piece. This one standing right here was once in his home, and he reviewed it. So I think we should do a contest on who does a better review. And his handle is Sinister Collector, so if you haven't seen his channel, go check out his channel and check out his review of Darth Maul, and then you can check out my review of Darth Maul, and let's see whose is better. I do have topless girls coming in, just so you know. Collectibles here with Darth Maul Mythos from the Sideshow line. So 2,500 of these guys were produced by Sideshow. It originally was like 300, 350 bucks. It flips for about twice that now. As I said in the intro, I bought this on eBay from a friend, ironically a Facebook friend, not a real friend, because I've never met most of you. Any of you are real friends, because none of my real friends know I have a YouTube channel. They know I have it, but I will not give it up what it is. Why? Because I like to keep this part of my life separate. But anyway, I wanted to get this guy because I have a whole line of Siths either here or coming. Some of them may have been aired already because I filmed these way in advance. I have Vader Mythos, I have Sideshow Darth Malgus, I have Sideshow Kylo Ren, which I want to give a shout out to Darth Castle. I was actually going to post that review today, and then I saw that you are unboxing yours live this week, so I wanted to show some respect, and I'll put that guy on the back burner for a while. But very excited to get this piece. I was debating between this and the new XM Studios Darth Maul, and in the end it came down to price, and I was hoping I would not be unhappy because that's about twice the price of this, and I am not unhappy. This is a very cool piece. This is 1/5 scale, which is a disadvantage, but it'll go well with the Vader that either the review is already posted or it will be, so either check it out or check it out in the future. But it won't go well with the quarter scale Malgus, quarter scale Kylo Ren, Emperor, stuff like that, and I just have a custom Sith coming too. So Sideshow made 2,500 of these. This is an adaptation from a comic line, and then obviously the Star Wars series. Darth Maul is one of the Sith Lords that didn't really have a lot of screen time, but he introduced us to the greatest lightsaber fight ever known to man, at least at that time. It was the only redeeming part about the movie. Not the only redeeming part, but probably the most redeeming part. Came in a standard Sideshow shipper. This one's a little dusty, but I'll get over it. And also some styrofoam burn that I need to try and get off that might have happened during the shipping. But otherwise, no issues. Has a couple switch outs. First, the head, you have the mouth opened, the one I like a little bit better. And then same, it's very similar expression, but mouth closed, a little bit more stoic. Then his right hand, you have this one that I like where he's using the force to stop, you know, or choke someone or whatever it is, unclothe them. And then the other right hand, apparently his lightsaber isn't enough, so he needs some sticks to fight someone, which I will never display. And let me do measurements really quick. I always forget on the statues, but one nice thing about being 1/5, very small, you're about 18 tall and it's a circle, so the diameter is about 8 inches. However, the lightsaber is almost over 20, which the nice thing is these come out so you can remove it. So if you just wanted him to have the front or the back or none at all to show that it was closed, that's kind of a cool option. So I'm going to try and find a way to display it with this, with the other Siths. I also pulled the trigger on XM Boba Fett because it looks so awesome. So I should be reviewing that, but again, I don't know when it's going to air, and I'm just rambling now. So let's dive into the concept of this. So again, it kind of follows the comic book origins, which I'm not familiar with, but obviously the base is very similar to Vader's. During Vader's review, if I air that first, I talked about I don't understand the concept behind the sides of the black base, but it's identical to this one. So I do like the fact that they stayed within the line, and I'm assuming they did with the other Star Wars Mythos characters that they have rolled out. I just don't have any. But on top is kind of a sandy textured base, which is obvious, you know, from maybe the fight on Tatooine or wherever the comic book origins on this. But he's sitting there. There's obviously some wind going on. It's a museum pose. However, he's ready for battle. He's got the sneer on his face. He's using the Force. He's showing his power. He's just a badass. Most of the, in history, both in reality and in fantasy, the biggest badasses don't need to prove they're badasses, or they've already proven they're badasses, so they just sit there, kind of like Darth Maul is right here. So very cool concept. It'll go well with the entire Mythos line because they're all kind of a similar museum pose, but there's a little bit of story behind it. And design-wise, I'm impressed none of these broke. That's really all there is to design-wise, and I do like the fact that the seam is decently hidden on his neck because of the paint. So just getting into the base, the you know, outside of the base, like I talked about earlier, similar to the Darth Vader one, there's some shiny golds and then some blacks mixed in there with the ledges. Nothing really to write home about. The sand looks really, really cool. I think they did a good job with it, not only on the texturing and the sculpt, but the different colors they added in there to give it even more depth. The blacks and browns and golds and specks. Looks really cool. His boots look good. There's no folds in them because he's standing up straight, but there's some different detail and textures and buckles and straps all throughout that give it, you know, a little attention so it doesn't look too boring. And then his pants, very cool. The flow of it, the sculpt, it's that same color as his boots, but you can still differentiate the boots from the pants because of the sculpt. Looks good. I like all the folds. Almost gives you like an Aladdin type genie feel, but it doesn't look corny. It doesn't look stupid. Then he's wearing his dress that's flowing in the wind. I really like this. Again, just like the baggy pants, it doesn't look stupid. It looks cool, and they don't have to show any anatomy down here because this covers everything up. But it's flowing in the wind. There's some different sculpts, some different folds, some different variations to the texture, all that solid black color. However, moving up to his uniform on the top, it's a different black color. It's more shiny. And it maintains kind of that flowing in the wind with the different textures. It's almost ripped off of him, so he gets to show his man chest. I really like his arm. The different textures and variations. I think they did a good job with his outfit. And the same thing with his gloves. Both the one holding the lightsaber and the one holding it out, some good folds and definition in there, and it's the same color maintained throughout. And then talking about his body, great job on the anatomy. He looks fit, looks tough. He doesn't look over muscular. He just looks very athletic with, you know, you can almost see some of his rib bones in there, so he obviously doesn't eat too much. And then I like the colors. The red really pops with, you know, the black tattoos or markings or whatever his home race is. But great job on the anatomy, both on his chest and his arm. And then moving to his portrait, at least the open mouth one, the one I like. Again, the paint colors look great. They pop really well. I particularly like his horns and his ears. Some great sculpt there. And the paint just pops. The horns kind of have brown and, yellow and black. And then really good sculpt on his face. I like right around the eyes, and then the eyes themselves are painted on very well. And then some good grimacing cheekbones that they added into the sculpt that you can actually see underneath the paint. And then his teeth look really good, individualized, sculpt well. His lips are sneering. Very happy I decided to go with this piece, and saved half my money not going with XM Darth Maul, which I'm sure is amazing. Let me know if you have that, because it looks amazing. It's a great character who I think didn't get enough love in the Star Wars movies, which is unfortunate. Played by Ray Park, I think, who plays kind of few weird characters. But I hope you like this. Please stay tuned for the other Sideshow Siths, I said it right, that I'm going to be reviewing. Please check out Sinister Collector's YouTube channel. Subscribe to that if you haven't. And then also another big Star Wars portion, Darth Castle, has a channel that he reviews a lot of great Star Wars pieces. So really appreciate you watching. Please let me know what you think and give me a like. Thanks so much. Take care.